Hello, friends. Welcome to Youth Rising. This is Lindsay Loss, Certified Youth Life Coach. And today we're going to talk about ditching indecision. Now, this topic is something that I'm very familiar with. I spent a lot of time in my life seeing myself as an indecisive person. And I would kind of just tell myself, well, I'm just not really good at making decisions. I take a long time to make decisions. Making decisions is hard for me. And when I was telling myself that, those things really did come true. So I am learning now to move into this place where I see myself as a person who makes decisions. And sometimes I actually think of myself as Lindsay the decider, because this is something that I have struggled with. And so I don't necessarily jump to this place of like, I am the best at making decisions. Making decisions is one of my superpowers. That's not something that I can totally believe right now. But I can believe that I can make a decision. I can believe that I can live into this idea of being Lindsay the decider. So, if you are one of those people who sees yourself as not being a good decision maker, not being decisive as one of your qualities, I want you to try and let go of that a little bit and not necessarily jump to I'm the best at making decisions, but allow yourself to believe that you can make a decision. As you're able to step into that belief about yourself, you will find that you have more confidence and are more able to make decisions. Let's talk about why we're indecisive. And why is that a problem? It's a problem because when we don't decide and we don't move forward, it keeps us from reaching some of the goals in creating the life that we want to create, creating friendships, relationships, all of those things. And so why do we not do those things that are in our best interest? And I've got a few reasons why I think that happens. One is that we're really worried about being wrong. Two, we're really worried about failing. And three, we believe that there's one right way of doing it. So we're going to talk about each of those and why they keep us from making a decision. So this belief that we might be wrong keeps us from moving forward and deciding. So when we're worried that we're going to be wrong, sometimes we just get to this place where we just don't decide. So it's like, okay, well, if I don't actually move forward and decide, then I can't be wrong. And it's like we're saving ourselves from that uncomfortable feeling of being wrong. I don't like being wrong. You probably don't like being wrong either. But when we choose to not decide for that fear of being wrong, we actually are making a decision anyway. In that process of not deciding, we kind of give that power away to either other people or to just reality in life. So let's say, for example, you have two jobs and you want to apply for both of them and you're trying to decide which job you want to apply for. And you're just having a hard time deciding. And in the end, you just don't decide. And in that time of not deciding, they fill the jobs with other people. So because of the fact that you didn't decide, the world kind of decided for you. So that's one of the things that can happen when we have this fear of being wrong. So one way to help yourself with that is to remind yourself that it's okay to be wrong. It might feel uncomfortable, but you can kind of let that feeling be with you. It's not going to hurt you. Sometimes we're wrong, and it's okay. The next thing is that we're really afraid to fail. And if we decide to move forward on something and then it doesn't work out, sometimes we make that mean that we're not really good at anything, or that we're a terrible person, that we're just not good enough. To protect ourselves, again, from feeling that uncomfortable emotion, we choose to not decide. The interesting thing is that in that example before, where you just didn't decide which job to take, you ended up kind of failing anyway because you didn't get any of the jobs. And so in this process of protecting ourselves from failing, by not deciding, we're often creating a different failure. You're not actually protecting yourself from failure, you're just failing in a different way. And so moving forward and learning through making a decision and maybe in some way failing, you're going to learn more and grow more through that process. And again, please check out my video on how to see failure different in your life. Failing, as we see it, doesn't have to mean something bad about you. And when things don't work out the way you want them to, it also doesn't have to be defined as a failure. It can be defined as learning and growth. So being open to the idea that things not working out is going to be okay and that it doesn't have to mean something bad about you is going to help you be able to move forward with confidence in making a decision. The third thing that may be holding you back is that you feel like there's one right way to do it, that there's got to be like some magic sauce, that there's just the one right thing for you in this moment. But let's be open to the fact that maybe that's not even true. Maybe there isn't one right way. When you move forward and decide, you get to be that person who makes it the right decision. Where I've seen this come up is choosing what to do for your future education. And when you're telling yourself there's only one right thing to do, one right way to do it, it often holds you back from exploring any ideas. You don't research, you don't put in the effort, you don't learn about the opportunities that may be out there for you, and so you don't decide. And so really helping yourself understand that there isn't one right thing for you and that you have an opportunity in the future to change your mind about anything, and that anything you move forward and learn about is going to benefit you. There may be stories around, oh, well, but I'll waste time if I don't figure out the right way. But the truth is that when you don't move forward at all because you're telling yourself there's only one right way, you end up wasting time anyway. So just keep that in mind. Now that we kind of know some of the reasons we don't decide and some tips on kind of working with that, how do we go forward with decisions without all of the drama? So one way is to just decide. And we spend a lot of time trying to figure out pros and cons and asking all these people and doing all these things. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do any of those, but set a time limit for yourself. Say, I'm going to make this decision by tomorrow at 5 p.m. And then when that time comes, commit to yourself and make a decision and move forward. And the worst that can happen is you go down that road a little bit, you decide that maybe it wasn't the thing that you wanted to do, and you can change your mind. Am I going to be more happy if I do it, or am I going to be more happy if I don't do it? Now that's one really simple way to just make a quick decision instead of going over and over things in your mind for a long time. Another way to help yourself make that decision is to look at how you feel with each option and just kind of check in like, okay, what am I feeling if I go forward with this option? Just kind of like notice what that creates for you. And try and go beyond just like, I feel good or I feel bad. Try and be specific. If that fear comes up, recognize that fear doesn't always mean you shouldn't do something. Fear may be just giving you some information. And check into why you might be afraid. Because if you're afraid, you may be afraid of failure. You may be afraid of being embarrassed. And remember that some of those things that we're afraid of aren't going to be as bad as we think they are. And that it's important to help our brain see the good things that could happen from that option or making that decision as well. So just get a little curious about why you're feeling, how you're feeling about each option, and which reason you like best. So if you're feeling fear because you are afraid to fail, but you've decided that you don't want to not move forward because of fear of failure, then that might be a reason to move forward in that decision and for that option. And another really important question I like to ask myself is, what is the cost of not deciding? It may be opportunities, it may be money, it may be friendships or relationships, maybe reaching your goals. So just ask yourself that question. What is the cost of me not deciding right now? And the thing is too, is sometimes our brains really like to think that everything's black and white. Like once you've decided something, that's it. You can never change your mind. But it's just not true. It's okay to make a decision, move forward, go down that road a little while, and then change your mind. And when you're going down that road, instead of constantly second guessing yourself, commit to yourself that you are going to make that the right decision, this is what I've decided. I'm going to back myself up. I made the best decision I could with the information I had. And give yourself, again, a time, like as to when you're going to reassess that. Maybe you give yourself a month. I mean, it depends what it is. And maybe you give yourself a couple days and then you reassess. And if you want to, you can change your mind. Most things are not totally final when it comes to making decisions. So hopefully some of these ideas around making decisions help you in some of those decisions that you've got coming up, whether it comes to friends, how to study, what to do in your future, all of these things. And recognize that choosing to decide and see yourself as a decider will really help you moving forward. And if making decisions is something that you've struggled with, I can relate and I can help. Book a free coaching discovery call with me. The link is in my bio or in the description below, and we will make a plan of how we can help you make the decisions that you need to make going forward.